Secret rares are one of the most coveted things in the Dragon Ball Super TCG, with extremely rare pull rates and finite amounts to exist making them very valuable. They're also sometimes very powerful, competitive viable cards. So whether you're a collector and competitor, or looking to hit it big from the 90s equivalent of loot boxes, secret rares are something that all players value highly. However, in January of 2021, we saw a price hike across all secret rares that began to really blow up over the next month. And just like the chaos that was happening around the Wall Street Bets subreddit, the marketplace for the DBS TCG got a little wild. Across the board, secret rares rose in price. And this created a trickle-on effect, where people saw the price rising and decided to buy in, whether as an investment, or to secure something they'd want now rather than pay an inflated price for it later on. Son Goku, the Awakened Power, was one of the much more dramatic rises, as a card that is most rare due to its limited production run and its age. From December of 2020, sitting at just under $750 to essentially doubling, sitting now at 1,517 this week, with all signs showing that it will continue to rise. A big part of this was also due to the Big Bad So Sad virus, and the American stimulus package that saw a lot of people with a little extra cash, and those who didn't need it for urgent medical care and bills, well, they did the next smartest thing and bought that secret rare for their collection. This led to a lower supply, and as supply and demand dictate pricing, well, you know what happens next. However, part of this panic is blown out of proportion, and to talk about this further, we have Sam Russell.
G'day guys, so as Jason said, prices were rising everywhere, according to TCG Player, which is the primary and premier destination for gauging prices and shopping. As people were seeing these prices rise, that's when the stores caught on. You see, TCG stores aren't as simple as you and I trading cards that we want to have. They're businesses who need to get the most profitable results in order to stay in business and keep their employees fed. And the majority of the time, these are ran by pretty smart, dedicated individuals. And I'm not just saying that because we have a Cybermen store. So as the prices rose and the supply dropped, some people began paying for these cards directly from the store sellers on the TCG website because it was getting a lot easier than shopping around, getting highballed and seeing the price continue to rise as you still don't have the card, so you buy it. Odds are you buy the cheapest one there, meaning that the median price on the website has now increased because that cheap card is no longer there. The higher the listed median price is compared to the market price, the more people are going to feel like they can safely charge over the market price, further increasing the market price, and the snowball takes off. Now, Jason can go a little further into the differences and the relationships between these prices.
Thank you, Sam. So, as mentioned, the relationship between listed median and the market price isn't always accurate or easy to articulate. But before we dive into that, we need to mention the market price and how it's calculated, which is explained in this article that I can bet most people here haven't actually thoroughly read through. So, the market price is based off what the cards have sold for throughout their site recently. If I sell a copy of this Goku card that nobody cares about for $10, and the current market price is only at $5, then it will rise closer to its most recent sale price. And if I instead sold the card for $1, the market price would drop. So, with every actual sale that happens, the market price will tend to move towards the direction of the listed median. However, when you're dealing with cards that have a very limited print number, like secret rares, one purchase might bump up the listed median a bunch. Let's look at Great Ape Master Saiyan. Let's say that the 5 prices you see on the screen at the moment are the prices that the 5 sellers that have this card listed are looking to sell the card for. Now, the median price means the middle of the data range, not the average. So, the person who buys that card at $150 has taken that number out of the dataset completely and actually bumped the listed median price up by a great deal. And of course, the market price would be adjusted accordingly. Something else to note here is that due to the fees of using the platform, most day-to-day players and traders don't sell on TCG Player. Therefore, the listed median and thus market price is dictated by advanced traders and stores. Now, there is some good news, and that is that panic buying and fads such as these are impermanent most of the time. But let's take a look at some of the recent prices on cards to see if we can predict some price points. Now, Arcane Absorption Margin Boo is an example I'd like to give of a card's value being overinflated. All of his stock at a fair price was bought out, and as a result, the only price listing for him was at $2,900 US. This led to a minor panic price hike. However, once more stores were able to purchase more copies of the card from players to then sell them on, they would be able to set more realistic prices, because the likelihood of a player purchasing a card with low competitive relevance and no supply issues for that price is dramatically low. Things should stabilize, seeing the card hit a safe $150 market price, trending up slightly with a listed median closer to $200 or maybe $220. Next up, Supreme Kai of Time, Space-Time Unraveler. Now, unlike the previous card, this one is not only fresh, meaning that boxes of product are still actively being purchased and unboxed to increase supply slowly, but it's also an incredibly competitively viable card, seeing a good deal of use on websites such as DBS Deck Planet and Shenron's Lair. Now, the market price has been steadily increasing, but its listed median is much more stable. So these prices are set to be closing their gaps in the following weeks, unless something happens in a competitive sense to drive up demand. Market price will be close to $350, whereas the listed median could jump to about $450 over time, but is more likely to be in the low 400s. I did want to also take a quick look at Son Goku, the Awakened Power, however things have been getting increasingly ridiculous, and I'm not going to dive too deep into it here. This card is hella expensive now, and if you're thinking about getting one, you could probably also afford to hire an actual economist to advise you on exactly what to do here. While we're talking about the pricing of secret rares, it'd be irresponsible to at least not briefly mention signature rares. These cards are a bit different due to their rarity and prestige. If you wanted to play a Cell Zeno, you need to spend a few $100s on him. However, if you wanted to play Frieza, Emperor of Universe 7, you don't need to spend $200 on the signature rare card. You could instead spend about $2 on the normal super rare. Therefore, the signature rares have become a purely collector's item and aren't affected by competitive play. Given these cards have been slowly increasing in price over the last year, and have had a bit of a spike recently as the secret rares did, you can chalk this one pretty easily up to basic economic influxes. Who knew that a spicy virus that's killed hundreds of thousands of people would lead to Dragon Ball Super cards being more expensive? What a world. If you are interested in a follow-up video, I'd love to do a deep dive on some of the more hard data on the other end of things. So if you guys can find someone from TCG Player who's willing to show us some of the behind-the-scenes data to analyze, I'd love to do something about that, make something more in-depth, maybe a feature on the signature rares. Before we end, I also want to give a bit of a shout-out and a quick thank you to Sam for guest starring in this deep dive.
Thanks for that, Jason. This one took a lot of effort, so we appreciate it. As for everyone watching, remember to subscribe to the Cybermen for more, and check out the links below the video as always for things like the Cybermen store, our website, our Facebook, and Jason's personal YouTube page. See you in the next one, guys.